Echo is now done. It's time to rank the MCU movies. And because there is like 45 movies and TV shows, it becomes pretty like a massive thing to just rank them with all the graphics, all the clips, and everything like that. You know, it becomes like this really, really big struggle. I'm telling you that now. And so I thought, well, let's just put them in the tiers, rank them in numerical order like that. So we got the best category, double decent, good, it's alright, meh, and lost for words? What? So we got those categories. We're going to rank them. Let's get into it. And we're starting off with the Incredible Hulk, which I'm going to put in the meh category because it's just forgettable. It's forgettable. I haven't rewatched this one for so long because I feel like this is the one you don't need to rewatch at all. It's just, yeah. It's just one of those movies that you kind of like, well, I can't believe the MCU. This was the first movie of the MCU, but hey, it is what it is. Iron Man. The first Iron Man, I'm putting in good. I thought this movie was great. The villain is great. Obadiah Stane, love the villain. I also love Robbie Downey Jr. in this. I love the story behind it. And to me, it worked really, really well. So I'm putting in the good tier. But Iron Man 2, I'm lost for words at how bad it was compared to the original one. To me, this one just was a complete and utter mess. Whiplash as a villain, I don't find him interesting. I don't really care for him. I didn't really care for the story itself. I felt like it was very weak compared to the first one. We got to see our first introduction to Black Widow as well, which was cool. But overall, I feel like it was just kind of one of those movies that just never got off. Never got off the ground. It never, hit the thrusters. So for me, I put it down in that bottom category. Now, Thor, the original Thor, I put in double decent. I love the original Thor. I think it's one of the most underrated films in the MCU and in comic book history. I love the family dynamic. The way that they did that was fantastic. How Loki's looking for approval with Odin. Thor is trying to become king and not realizing what it takes to be a king. Then Odin also trying to juggle the two sons and teach them what they need to do. It was absolutely fantastic. I like it and I love the idea behind it. And yeah, I really like the first Thor movie. And First Avenger, I like the First Avenger as well. It goes in front of it. I like it more than Iron Man. But I like this one. The introduction to Captain America, thought the story was great. Really liked the character of Steve Rogers, and we get to see him, what makes him worthy of the serum, which was great as well. Red Skull is a bit of could have been a better villain in this movie. I feel like he is wasted potential in the MCU. But nevertheless, I still enjoy Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, the first Avengers movie, I put the first Avengers movies there. I really liked the first Avengers movie. I never thought I'd see an Avengers movie like this. But, bringing all the characters together, them fighting against Loki, who is just an absolute monster of a villain in this movie. You really see what Loki is all about in this movie. Really liked it. Love the team up stuff. Love the dynamic between them and how they got to work it out. To me, it was just a really, really good film. So I put it there. Iron Man 3. I put Iron Man 3 in the meh category. I do. I'm not a big fan of the twist. And you know what? No, I'm going to put Iron Man in it's alright. I'm not a big fan of the Mandarin twist. I'm not a big fan of Killian as the villain itself. But I'll tell you what saves this movie for me is Tony's arc. I really enjoy Tony's arc in here, and I enjoy how it progresses from point A to point B. I love the stuff that he's dealing with after the Avengers movie. To me, that was all great, and that's what saves it from being in the meh category, actually. So it's all right. It's all right. Thor: The Dark World, though, I still like it more than Iron Man 2, but again, it's not good. It's not good. Malekith is one of the most unforgettable villains in the whole entire MCU. Would be the worst villain, but hey, guess what? They managed to make a villain even more forgettable and even worse than Malekith. Don't know how you do that, but they did. But there was so much potential with the Dark Elves and with that side of the story. I thought the best thing about it, again, was Thor and Loki and their dynamic. Saved this movie from being a complete and utter disaster. But overall, it's kind of just one of those movies that you just kind of don't want to rewatch again. So, yeah. Captain America Winter Soldier, though, We're putting that in a double decent, man. Like the best category, we're talking like top 5. For me, Winter Soldier's just out of the top 5. I really like this movie a lot. I think it's fantastic. Not only is it a good superhero movie and good comic book movie, it's a great spy movie as well. And I really enjoyed it. I love the idea of how do you challenge Captain America? You know, a guy whose morals are so strong. How do you test him? How do you test a guy that we all strive to be? And you test his faith in the actual government itself. And I love that idea with it. I thought the Winter Soldier stuff was fantastic as well. The action is superb. It's great. It's a really, really good movie. Guardians of the Galaxy. Absolutely love the first Guardians of the Galaxy as well. James Gunn nailed it. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's serious when it needs to be. It's a group that no one knew about. He managed to get these misfit characters, put them together into a movie without any backstory to them, and give us this great movie. The only thing I have with this movie is Ronan as a villain could have been so much better. He does the job, but again, I feel like it's another wasted potential in the villain. But overall, I still love Guardians. I still love this movie. It's hilarious. It's great. Age of Ultron. Now, this is where things get spicy. Because for me, the more I watch Age of Ultron, the more I like it. I don't know why. It's just one of those movies. Every time I see it, I finish it and I'm like, you know what? I actually really like this movie more than I did. More than I thought I did. I like this movie. Now, I'll still sit here and always say Age of Ultron needed 2 movies. It needed 2 movies to really flesh out the Ultron character, who is just one of the great characters in the comic books when it comes to the Avengers. To me, I feel like his character is so rushed in that first part that he's just ideal, and morals and stuff like that, and his convictions of what he's going to do is developed so quickly. But other than that, I really like him as a villain. He's menacing. I also like the cast. I like the introduction of Scarlet Witch. I like the introduction of Quicksilver, even though Quicksilver is not around very much. But overall, to me, it just gets better and better. I love it. Vision is great. The fights are great. It's a good film. I think it's good. Ant-Man. It's alright. It's alright. I put it above Iron Man 3. I think look, it was something we needed after the Avengers movie. A small heist film with Ant-Man. You get introduced into the world of Ant-Man, and Hank Pym's great. You know, Hope's great. Scott Lang's great. The villain, Yellow Jacket, Darren Cross, you know, generic, but does the job. But yeah, it's alright. Civil War. I'm putting Civil War just below Winter Soldier. I like Civil War a lot. And what I like about this film is the confrontation between Tony and Steve. To me, that is what is at the center of this movie, and what drives this movie is their conflict. And I love that idea between it. I love Zemo as a villain. He doesn't use brawn to win this. He uses strategy, he uses his brain. He pits them against each other to tear themselves from within, which I absolutely love the psychological warfare that he's playing. It's absolutely brilliant. I love the airport scene. I love the chase sequence with Black Panther. I really like this movie a lot. I think it's fantastic. So it's in double decent. Doctor Strange. It's good. You know, it's good. I like this Doctor Strange. I like his character arc and the way he's introduced, and how he goes from this selfish, you know, character that is just all about himself. I'm, you know, rich and everything like that, to this character who's now lost everything, his sense of purpose, and now he's got to re-find it again. I really like that. I love the lore building in Doctor Strange as well. I just don't like the villain. I think the villain's forgettable. And like, how do you get Mads Mikkelsen to come in and play this villain and you butcher it? I will never understand. So it's good, but that villain just, yeah. Alright, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, meh, to me. Now, I know some of you guys love this film, but I'm not one of them. I feel like this was complete opposite to what the first Guardians was. I think the tone is all over the place. It's funny, serious, and just does not mesh well at all. It's like, it's about a guy who's killing his kids, and then it's spread around with jokes. And I'm sitting there like, well, I'm trying to feel something for this, but then it's just joke after joke after joke. I feel like he didn't get the balance right with this film, and the tone's just, it's like dark and it just doesn't work. And then it's more of a Star-Lord film than an actual Guardians film, which is kind of sad because I like the Guardians. Obviously, Kurt Russell's good in this movie, but Ego as a character, again, I just don't find him compelling. So for me, it's in the meh category. So yeah, Spider-Man, Homecoming, it's all right. Vulture's great. I absolutely love Vulture. One of the best villains in the MCU. But the story itself, I don't like how Spider-Man is always relying on Tony Stark in this movie, and he does kind of become Iron Man Jr. in this, so that's kind of a bit annoying, but, it's alright, it's alright. It's a good introduction to Spider-Man. There are some moments in there where you're kind of like, okay, I see the potential, and yeah. Thor Ragnarok is the first one to go in the best category. I love this movie. I love what Taika did with this Thor character, especially after that atrocious Dark World movie we got. He took this character, he delivered a great villain in Hela, who's menacing, who straight from the moment you meet her, you're like, okay, she ain't here to play around with. Then you have the dynamic between Thor and Loki, which I love in this movie. To me, this brother dynamic is the best in the MCU, and I love it. And the realization of Loki coming to terms with Thor actually looks up to him and loves him and wanted to be with him the whole entire time. They wanted to fight together, do all that stuff. I absolutely loved it. I also love Hulk in here as well. Valkyrie's great. To me, it's funny, but it's also, the tone is right. And this is where Taika nailed it. And when he nails it, it's good. So for me, I really like Thor Ragnarok. Black Panther. I'm going to put Black Panther in double decent. I am. I like Black Panther. I do. I think it was a great introduction to the character. Killmonger, fantastic. Absolute fantastic villain. Love it. Love how he sees himself as a hero in his story. So I really like that. There is visual effects, that aren't so great throughout the film, that take away you out of the scene. But overall, I like Black Panther. And I love the lore building as well. And I love the T'Challa character. So yeah, that worked. Avengers Infinity War. Another one that goes into the best category. Love this movie. I love this movie. It's so good. Thor has a fantastic character arc. Like, this is a guy that just loses everything. Has lost absolutely everything. And now he needs to rediscover that fire that he had in Ragnarok to save the universe from Thanos. And then you have Thanos, who believes he's the hero of the story, and he believes what he is doing is going to save the universe. It's going to save the universe. And it's just so good. The fight sequences are great. The characters are great. And to have the villain win at the end, hats off. Absolutely fantastic. Loved Infinity War. Endgame. This might be controversial, but I put Endgame in. It's all right. It's all right. Now, I'll tell you what. Look, the final act, the final third of that movie is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best in the MCU. It's just the portal scene, everything about it. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. But it's the stuff before that I just feel like is lacking. They break their own time travel rules. It's messy. It doesn't add up with the different things. And then you're kind of sitting there like, okay. And then the third act comes and it's kind of like, okay, I'm in it now. So I feel like the first part of Endgame, I'm not too big of a fan of. But then the third, I'm just like, yeah, deliver me. It's a nerdgasm times 2000. So it's all right. It's all right. I wouldn't change it though. Like, that's the thing. If you gave me the option to change Endgame and give it a different thing, I wouldn't change it. I'd still keep it how it is. So yeah. Far From Home. This one has actually gone down my ranking quite a lot. It used to be up here, but now it's down here. I like what they were trying to do. I love Peter's arc that he goes through in this movie. I especially love the plane scene with Happy. To me, that is just fantastic. The idea of him trying to be Tony Stark and Happy saying to him, you're not him. You're not Tony. And I love that. I like Mysterio as well. He could have been better, but he's still good. Jake Gyllenhaal's great. And yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. So yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp. One character, Sony Butch. Why did he need to be in this movie? Why did he have to be in this movie? He didn't need to be. You take him out of this movie and it's fine. It runs better, actually. But I just feel like this was just... it was a drag. It's a drag to get through, man. It really is. The villains aren't compelling. The story's not that compelling. And yeah, it's just... yeah. Ugh. Captain Marvel. You know what? Some people might not agree with that. But it's alright. It's alright. Like, the villain's not the best villain, but it's he does his job. Brie Larson, I mean, you can't say she's not a good actress. Brie Larson is a freaking phenomenal actress. But they just don't give her the material to showcase that, which is a shame, because I feel like if you're bringing her in, you give her the best you can give her. And she did the best with what she had. And I didn't mind her version of Captain Marvel. I didn't mind it. It's not the worst. But I don't think it deserves to be down in these categories for me. Because I didn't mind it, but it is what it is. WandaVision. I put WandaVision in, it's alright. Like, there's episodes here that I absolutely love, that I really, really enjoyed. And then there's just the Ralph Boner stuff that's just dumb and stupid, and I'm like, why? The finale, to me, is awful. We have White Vision just fly off. I'm like, okay, so that happened. We have someone get arrested and is the villain when he did absolutely nothing wrong. And then we have Monica Rambeau say the single most worst thing I've ever heard when it comes to dialogue in any form of cinematic history, where she tells Wanda, they will never know the sacrifice you made for them. The things that you gave up for them. Bruh, she took them hostage against their will and did unspeakable things to their mind while they were under that spell. And you're telling me they need to be thankful for her for what she sacrificed for them to be free again. It's absolute baloney bullcrap. Like, Monica Rambeau, dumb. Like, why would you even say that? So I was not a fan of that whole finale and that particular thing. Agatha isn't even a bad guy. She's not a bad guy. She's just like there for like the hell of it. And it's just kind of like, what are we doing? And Monica getting her powers like that? Talk about a cop-out, lazy way to do it. To me, there's things I like and things I absolutely hate. That's why I've got in it. It's alright. And it's the same with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Things I like, Winter Soldier and his character arc, really, really enjoyed that. Walker, really, really enjoyed. Everything else wasn't like, it was okay. It wasn't anything special or anything like that. But again, the finale is kind of like, there's things like Sam grabbing the car, and it's like, he doesn't have super strength. How's he holding that car? And just, things didn't add up. So, now we move into Loki, though. And I put Loki, season 1 and 2, in the best category. This is the single greatest character arc in the MCU, is Loki. It's absolutely phenomenal how we get a guy who just wants a throne, who wants to rule, who wants people beneath him to be seen as the almighty God, burdened with glorious purpose. To have him in the finale come around as someone who is willing to sacrifice his own freedom to have a burden of a throne that he doesn't want, to be lonely forever, to hold the multiverse together just so his friends can live a long, fruitful life. If that isn't the best character arc in the whole entire MCU, then I don't know what is. It's just absolutely phenomenal what they did with this. Kang is great. What they did with the variants was fantastic. I really liked it. Mobius was great. To me, Loki was just absolutely fantastic. It is so good. And that finale is just perfection. It is perfection, that finale. Ties up beautifully. And this character is just godly great. Absolutely fantastic. Black Widow. I'm putting the meh. It's a movie that came out too late. It needed to come out earlier because she was already dead. I like Yelena. Yelena to me was great. I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed her. I liked the dynamic of the family, what they were trying to go for. The visual effects aren't the greatest. There are some dumb things like the whole smelling and everything like that. So if I break my nose and I don't come under your spell, like there's just dumb things like that in it. And then the villain, Taskmaster, awful. Absolutely awful. So yeah, it's meh. What if? I'm gonna put what if in meh. Season 1 has some good ones and some really bad ones. Season 2 is a bit better, but overall, I just don't care for the what if concept, so it's kind of just meh. Shang-Chi. Bang. Shang-Chi. I love Shang-Chi. I absolutely love it. I think the fight sequences are great. The bus scene. So orgasmically great, that action sequence. I think Shang-Chi has the best action sequence in the whole MCU. It's just so good. Shang-Chi and his father. What a dynamic that is. What an emotional roller coaster of a ride that is. I love that whole thing. How we have his father who is, grieving. Who is trying to fill a hole with power. That he got rid of power to fill it with this woman that he loved. Now that she's gone, he's feeling that power back there again. And I love the moment where Shang-Chi says to him, I needed you. We needed a father. We needed you. And you weren't there. Like, it's just this beautiful family dynamic. It's fantastic. And I'm so excited to see the next Shang-Chi. Then we have Eternals, which I think is just absolutely phenomenal. I think this is great. Shot on location, so it's easily one of the best looking films. So that's all great. I love the lore and the concept behind the Eternals. But what I love the most is there's no outright villain in this movie. The Deviants aren't villains. They're just there trying to survive, doing whatever they need to do to survive. So they're not really villains. Ikaris is not really a villain either. And I'll tell you why. I know people like to say Ikaris is a villain, but he's not. He's not. He is torn between the woman that he loves and his creator and his purpose of life. Like, why was he created? He was created to birth the celestial. That's what he was made to do. How can you defy your own creator like that? It's like an internal struggle, and that's what's great about him, is he's having this internal struggle, and ultimately he caves in and goes, I can't do it, which I love. I absolutely love that, and I love the dynamic between the Eternals and that conflict that they have. Like, what do we do? Do we save humanity, or do we birth multiple and billions things? Because in another way, you could say the Eternals are the villains of the movie, because they are destroying life that hasn't been created yet, because this celestial is going to create more life. So you can go either way. That's why I love it, because there's no true villain to it. It's like the civil war between Tony and Steve. There's no villain between them. It's just a conflict of their morals and that. And I like that about it. So that's why I've got it in number 1. I absolutely love it. Hawkeye. Look, man. It just, meh. It started off great and then it just went pear-shaped. And that finale, man, that finale was awful. Okay, what they did with Kingpin was just so stupid, man. It was so stupid. And I was really liking Hawkeye, and then it just fell off. It just fell off. No Way Home becomes the final member in the best category. Absolutely love No Way Home. I think it's the best MCU film. I do. I think it's the best MCU film. It's great. This is the first time we see Spider-Man actually truly struggle and actually truly feel the pain of loss. Like, he loses Aunt May, which to me, that scene was absolutely gut-wrenching because of how it went. But it's then the next scenes that happen where Peter is blaming himself for everything that's happening. And then we have the other Spider-Man come in. And that whole moment where they're talking to him, dude, man, I was an emotional wreck. I was in a complete emotional wreck. The acting of Andrew Garfield is just so underrated. He is so good, man. When he's there and he's talking about Gwen and how he lost someone. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, man, stop making me cry. And then you get the moment where he saves MJ, bringing his character full circle, and just the performance that he does there, where he doesn't need to say anything. It's just all in his face. It's superb. The final act is great. Green Goblin is a fantastic villain. All of them are great. It was great, and the ending was perfect with how he had to make the choice, give up everything to save everything. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. To me, it was exactly what this Spider-Man needed. And it was just absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Moon Knight. Moon Knight I put in the it's alright category. I'm going to put above Captain Marvel though. And Iron Man. Like, I love most of Moon Knight. I love the Oscar Isaac in it. He's fantastic. I love the psychological side of this. How it's diving into his psyche and how he's got these different personalities. Love that. The finale, though, sucked. I'll be real with you. The finale fucking sucked. It did suck. They butchered Ethan Hawke. Like, how do you get Ethan Hawke to come in and play a villain and you just have that anticlimactic, finale? So, but look, I'm excited to see more Moon Knight. But it was, a disappointment towards the end there. Multiverse of Madness. Again, it's alright. I like that they used Wanda as a villain. I thought that was a great way to go from WandaVision to there. That felt like, all legit to me. I really, really liked that. Doctor Strange's great in it. To be honest, he's great in it. American Chavez is great in it. But I remember walking out of this film, and I remember after rewatching it again, thinking, I don't know. I expected more, and I want more from it. Now, that could just be because of the MCU as a whole, but I just felt like it was missing something. And like, you have Sam Raimi directing it. And I feel like he was restricted from doing what makes him really, really good when he directs films. And I would have liked a bit more horror aspects in it. And I feel like they held back too much. They held Sam Raimi back from doing that. I feel like they gave him a bit more license to roam free and do the horror stuff. He could have made this really great. But for me, it's just all right. Miss Marvel. Look, I don't hate Miss Marvel. But I also don't love it. I really like the first few episodes. I liked the idea, what they were going through. I love the family dynamic, man. That I could sit there and watch a whole season of just her and her family. And just the chaotic nature that they have is just hilarious. It really is. I really like that. I was hoping after those first few episodes, we were going to get a person who got powers and is now trying to juggle school, family, and love. Like, how was she going to juggle all that with her superhero involved in it? And, we know what her family's like when it comes to superheroes and that. So that would have been great dynamic. And I was like, okay, coming of age story, here we go. And I think she's great as Miss Marvel. But then it's just the story after that is just garbage to me. It really is. You bring in these new beings and I'm sitting there like, what? What's going on here? Now, this is that. This is what's going on here. And just fell right off. To me, it lost its way. And it's a shame because I really wanted to like Miss Marvel and I really liked it after the first 2 episodes, but it just went downhill quickly. So it's unfortunate. Thor, Love and Thunder. I'm putting the meh category. I like Gore. I really do. Christian Bale was great. I wanted more Gore. I really did. It's too funny at times. Like, the comedic really takes over the tone and shifts away when you have a serious thing going on about cancer that, is deep with the Thor character. You have that just is just overshadowed constantly by joke after joke after joke. It was all there. You have some really good shots in here, especially when they're in the shadow world there. There are some really, really good fight sequences and shadows and stuff like that. Like, there's potential there, but I think Taika just did not get the balance right at all. So, it's unfortunate. She-Hulk. It needs its own category. It needs its own category. Like, Lost for Words is not even an accurate statement for this. It's god-awful. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, one of the worst things I've ever seen. And that finale is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Now, when you get someone like Tatiana to come in and play this character, she's freaking phenomenal. She's really, really good. And then you give her this trash to work with. And it's like, why? Why are we doing that? Visually, it looked awful. And just everything about it was just awful. The only good thing about it was Daredevil. That was it. Nothing else on it. So, Werewolf by Night, I'm putting in double decent, man. I'm putting it in double decent. To me, I really like this anthology idea of specials like this. Now, I saw it in black and white. I haven't seen it in color, but I like the black and white style because it felt like I was watching an old school like horror, like an American. Is it American Werewolf in London? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's like that. Like it felt like that, and I love the lore behind it, the creatures, the different mythology stuff behind it. I want to see more of this anthology stuff. I really do. I liked it. Wakanda Forever. Double decent as well. Really liked it. You like what Ryan Coogler had to do when, unfortunately, the sad news of Chadwick Boseman passing. He had to rework this whole script. He had to change it all. And for what he did from that was absolutely phenomenal. And I like Shuri in here, and I love what he did with that character. I love Namor as well and that character. I love the story and how it's all about loss and trying to, find yourself again. It was all great. I really liked it. So, yeah. Ant-Man Quantumania. I'm going to put it in the meh category as well. Kang's great. Kang is freaking great in this movie. I really did. Everything else, I like the stuff in the quantum realm. Like, I like the idea of the world itself. But everything else is just, I don't know. It's just, some visuals didn't come off how they should have looked. It's just, there's cheesy dialogue throughout, and MODOK looked awful. Yeah. And I wish they killed either Scott or someone else with significance, that is like of significance, and actually showcase you like, oh, Kang's someone to mess with. But they didn't, which is a shame. So, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm going to put right there. Really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Love the story with Rocket. Think it's absolutely incredible. The High Evolutionary. Great villain. Star-Lord has a great character arc in here as well. And I love that. They all have their own little moments as well, which is what I love. The use of Gamora was great as well. I just thought like James Gunn nailed it with the tone here. Like when it was funny, it needed to be funny. It was funny. When it needed to be serious, it was serious. And I liked that. I liked it. And I think this was the strongest Guardians of the Galaxy movie we have got. Now, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, I absolutely liked a lot. So I'm putting the good tier. I had a ball with this. This is fun. This was fun. Going and get Kevin Bacon was hilarious. Mantis and what's it called? Drax were hilarious in this. And I loved what they were doing on Earth, and that, to me, that was just so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Secret Invasion. Lost for words, man. Lost for words. Like, how are you going to have like this really good first 2 episodes where you're like, okay, this looks like this could be something good, and then just turns into this absolute garbage of a show. And then you have that finale where you're like, what, Gaia's got all the powers now of everyone? Like, what the hell's going on here? Why is that happening? That makes no sense. And you have that, and then it's like all this other stuff that happens that becomes like this dragged out story that's kind of like, ugh. Are we going to get there yet? And that's a shame because it started off so well, but fell so hard, so fast to the bottom of the pit really quickly. The Marvels. Ms. Marvel's great. Again, like, how do you have Brie Larson, you butcher it again? The Monica and Carol Danvers relationship and the tension that was in between them was resolved by like that, which was a shame because I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. How's this going to work? And then it's like over. Then you have some scenes in here that are just stupid, that don't make sense. The plan for the villain, because the villain is awful. It's the worst villain in the MCU. How do you make a villain worse than Malekith? I don't know, but hey, you succeeded in doing that. But the plan doesn't make any sense. It don't work. Like, what was she thinking? I'm going to get the sun through this hole, and it's going to reform as a sun and a star over that side. No, it's not going to work like that, you dumbass. And then you have the Kree can't hold this power, but a human can. What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But then, hey, Monica can hold even more power, and then all of a sudden close up a wormhole to another reality. Okay, what the fudge is going on? It's not funny. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Echo. For me, Echo goes here. Echo has high potential to be very, very good. Very, very good. It could have been absolutely superb. It's all there. But it's rushed. And when I mean it's rushed, it's probably the most rushed out of everything here. They condensed this into like five episodes, 5 or 6 episodes. And it feels like they just crammed in 12 episodes into like this small amount. The character shift from wanting to be the Kingpin to I don't want that anymore is insane how quick that happens. The finale is awful. Kingpin is supposed to be calm, cool, calculated. He's the complete opposite. He's rash. He's emotional. And how they never explain how he survived a gunshot to the face. Bro, man still got his eyes. He's got a black eye and a couple of grazes here. But he took it like a champ, apparently. And just a gunshot point blank to the face doesn't do anything to you. And it's a shame because look, outside of the Daredevil fight, the action didn't really live up to anything. And they talk about like, this is like going to be MA, man. This is like dark. We're going to dark territory. Bruh, Thor Ragnarok is darker than this. There are themes in there that are way darker than Echo. Echo's not even bad, man. Like, what made you think that this was going to be a worse rating than anything we've seen in the MCU before? It's not. It isn't. It was not that dark. It wasn't even that mature. I was just sitting there like, this is just like any other MCU crap that you've put out recently. Like, it's no darker than Secret Invasion. But hey, whatever. And you know, it had high potential. It really did. So there you have it. That is my ranking. So obviously it's in numerical order as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously that's my top 6 there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The next one's there. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You guys get it as we progress on. So that's my ranking. Let me know in the comment section below, how do you rank the MCU movies? Which ones are your favorites? Which ones aren't your favorites? We're going to have different lists. No one is going to have an identical list to me. I mean, there might be like 1 or 2 people in the world, like, maybe, potentially. But we're all going to have things in different positions and that. But let me know yours. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe, and peace out.